I have two pots that I didn't throw away. And I have this one. And I have this larger one. A larger one can fit right there. It'll be snug. Keep these things in here. I'm going to split these two onions up right on the line in the middle of the onion container. I am going to put these pieces of tape that are labeled pretty close to the bottom of the container because the sun will degrade all the lettering on them. Celery I'm going to put in this one actually. And the Walla Walla will go in this one. Then I'm going to have the Alyssa Craig on this side. And the Ciponelli on this side. This big container used a lot. A lot of soil. I'm going to just pack the soil down just a little bit. Water it in before I plant any seeds. Once I plant the seeds on here, I don't want to water like this because I don't want to disturb the seeds. It's really cool. You can kind of see where the water's at inside this container. All right, this is going to be a little tight to get the seeds in here for the carrot. I'm going to do the carrot first. I've got some tweezers. They probably aren't going to help too much. I very lightly cover with vermiculite. Carrot seeds are one of those ones where they have a hard time pushing through anything on the soil. When I grow them outside, I use the board method, which means that I plant them exposed to the surface, and then I put a cardboard or a board or something on them. And since the vermiculite's dry, I'm just going to mist them. Carrots don't necessarily want a hot temperature to germinate. I'm going to be putting this black container on my seed mat. So I am going to put something under this first. All right. This is a little big, but it's going to work. This thing is a little unstable picking it up by the handle, but it could be worse. I plant my onions pretty heavily in these containers because what I'm going to do is pull them out. Onions are pretty easy to separate when I transplant them out into the garden, so I'm not too worried about planting them fairly thick in the container. And they're fine to be grown close together like that when they're just seedlings. And that one is Brussels. I think I'm going to plant, the Brussels are going to be in for a little while. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, I'm going to do 3 Brussels. The celery is going to go in here. The celery needs light to germinate. Yeah, it says to press them into the surface. It doesn't specify whether they need light to germinate. I'm going, wow, these are so tiny. Yeah, they're not necessarily going to press into the surface very well. I'm also planting quite a few in here. What I did last year was to separate them out when I transplanted them out in the garden, but they are such tiny seeds. All right, and these are going to be like pretty much divided by a line right there. All right, I've thinly sprinkled probably about 15 or so seeds on the surface, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. And then with these, I'm going to sprinkle the vermiculite on top pretty thinly and press them down lightly. Okay, so that is what I'm doing to start these seeds. And I will mist the tops of these. I mist the tops carefully to not make the seeds displace, especially on the celery. And then I'm going to cover them and put them in the window, and I have a heat mat in the window. The sun is nice and bright out today. So this is what I've got sitting on my heat mat in the windowsill. And this is what I'm planting in January.